Hello, fellow Ohioans. This is YouTube Vids, and here is our coronavirus update for the state of Ohio for March 30th, 2020. This update is actually going to be pretty brief. Don't have tons of info for today, but I do want to share the numbers updates. What they talked about today at the meeting at 2 o'clock was there are now a total of 1,933 cases or infected people in Ohio alone, and the number increased today by 280 cases. So 280 more people tested positive today than uh, tested positive today. So the one thing again, like they're still saying there's going to be a spike somewhere, and based on everything that they've been saying on the everything they've been saying at their 2 p.m. presser is that this based on everything they've been saying in their 2 p.m. presser, it would seem like that spike would be coming sometime middle or later this week if there's going to be that spike. And I'll explain why, because still right now, I mean, 280 is still more than obviously what we had in the past few days, but those numbers are still pretty close. I mean, it's 10 more cases than what was reported on the 27th, and certainly more than, the weekend, but it's just interesting that like those numbers are actually flattened out for 4 days over the course of 4 days. And so that in general would seem to speak to, well, okay, I mean, you're not getting more cases. The number of cases daily aren't spiking. Um, so that would seem to indicate, okay, maybe you've got the problem under control. But again, that may have to do with the number of tests available and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and move on to the second graph. Like I said, I want to keep this update as short as possible today. So again, this is the graph for today. So they mentioned there were 27,275 tests given, which was an increase of about, like, again, it was about on par of, oh yeah, so 2,899 tests done today. So that's been on par, and it actually is slightly higher than what was done on Friday. So the number of tests performed is it increased by like less than 100, 66. So there were 66 more cases or tests today than there was on Friday. But again, the increase in positive cases did not change by much. There's the total negatives. You see that 25,342 tested negative, while you have the 1,933 that tested positive. So again, the numbers seem to indicate one thing, but there's obviously information that we don't have, other than the general statements being made by the doctor and by the governor that we still haven't tested as much as we could have yet. So, but I would think to me it seems like the people that are most likely to be infected are the ones that are already going in and getting tested. In theory, these people being tested are the ones that have the actual symptoms of COVID-19. So if these people are being tested, and out of all the people being tested, you've got only 1,900 tested positive, and your number of tests have been consistent for at least a week now, and you're not seeing drastic improvements or not improvements, drastic spike in the number of cases being reported daily, it would seem to suggest you're kind of flattening that trend. But again, eventually, at some point, I'm assuming they're going to start saying, okay, well, if you think you have mild conditions of COVID-19, then we want you to come in and get tested. And so the number of tests may start to open up. I don't know if there's certain areas in the state where they aren't able to test that much, and therefore, like, this 2,800 mark that we seem to be at right now per day is like the maximum that this thing will go until they can open that up more. But Ohio, the governor and the doctor have both been saying, I call her a doctor, but basically it's Amy Acton, is the one who's in their 2 p.m. press briefings. She, they're basically saying like we're gearing up beds and we're gearing up hospitals and doing everything to prepare for this massive onslaught that we're expecting in Ohio. And so, we'll see what happens with that. But like I said, as of right now, the numbers suggest one thing, and so we're basically just kind of in a waiting game right now. So we'll see if maybe over the coming days, if the number of tests increase or not, or if they stay the same and how the numbers look. But beyond that, like there's not really much information to provide. The only update I have that would be different from yesterday's update was that so as of 10 o'clock, it was 10 o'clock last night when the governor tweeted that the FDA did approve I forget the name of the company, but I mentioned it yesterday's update. The company that developed the process for sanitizing the N95 masks, they got the FDA approval needed to allow them to sanitize their 80,000 masks daily. So that's really cool for Ohio, and Ohio has already apparently shipped. I think so. I guess the way it might be working is I'm assuming the cleaning mechanisms are also distributed along with obviously the masks that are involved, or so basically they're mobile cleaning stations, I would assume. I'm still not 100% certain on that. All I know is they said they've pushed some things out to New York City or the state of New York, and they've also pushed this stuff out to the state of Washington. So in addition to this technology being useful in Ohio, it's already been distributed to other states that are the hotspots essentially for the virus currently, or have been known as the hotspots for the virus currently. So again, positive if you're in Ohio, when like, hey, we did something that not only is going to help ourselves, but also help other states as well. They did mention something about travel arrangements. Oh, that's right. So the governor announced the statewide, lockdown, if you will, is extended through May 1st. So he said by May 1st, they'll decide whether or not to push that out further or what's going to happen from there. So they pushed it out to May 1st, which is about the day after Donald Trump mentioned, his plan extending through the end of April. April 30th was his date. So DeWine said May 1st. They talked about travel arrangements or traveling between states as well. And so they haven't announced anything where they've locked down the ability to travel between states, but he did say today that he talks to governors in states all around us about travel and stuff like that. And so it sounds like they're trying to build up some information, probably figure out, okay, how much are people actually traveling right now? Is it enough to say like we should shut down or prevent people from traveling from other states? How could you realistically like accomplish that? I don't know. So obviously there's some factors they need to work through there, but those were essentially the updates they gave today. One other thing I'll mention is, so the death toll has raised to 39 in Ohio. So yeah, the deaths suck. That's not a huge number of deaths, fortunately, but it is at 39 currently for the state. So that's really my update for today, everyone. Again, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed these updates. I try to make them short so you don't have to maybe listen to me too much, but then also you don't have to go to like a bunch of different sources or watch like their hour-long 2 p.m. presser to get the same information. Try to condense it for you as much as possible with the bullet points, essentially. So hopefully you enjoy these quicker update videos. And again, if there's any feedback you have into them, be sure to drop me a comment. If you like the videos, be sure to leave me a like. And if you like the video as well, be sure to subscribe to the channel, because I will definitely be continuing to publish these update videos as we progress through this pandemic. And I try to publish, as much useful information to you as possible. So thanks again, everyone, for your support. Thank you for watching the video if you do, and I will see you all again for another update tomorrow afternoon. Bye-bye.